Hey Colton, I'm just gonna stop reminding you that I'm in China. Because frankly, it's a bit redundant, and if you were to forget the whereabouts of your favorite family member, well, that would just be tragic. The other night, a friend of mine called me and told me that a local venue was having a free concert that night, and asked me if I wanted to go. Neither of us knew who would be playing or what to expect, but as a general rule of thumb, when someone invites you to go to a free concert, you say yes. And oh, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. But we found this half a dozen hardcore Chinese metal bands. You might not be able to see it, but they are called Dying Tonight. Yes, that Chinese guy is now crowd surfing. We all have stereotypes about Asians, right? They're good at math, or playing the piano, or they have an unhealthy interest in anime and cute things like Hello Kitty. Oh look, the guy who just came to fix the mic stand has dreadlocks. But that night there was no math to be done, and there was no Hello Kitty to be seen. Just hardcore crowd surfing Chinese metalheads. Colton, to try and counteract all this metalness, I found this song that we can listen to for contrast. While moshing with these Asian metalheads, these were some of the thoughts that I had. And I must say that I was feeling just about as existential as one can while moshing. Not only are the stereotypes that we create for people unredeemably false, but the world is an incredibly global place. Odds are that the t-shirt you are wearing right now, or the computer that you're using, have visited more countries than most people do in their lifetime before they arrive at the store where you bought them. I just stumbled across this fascinating website called Global Grocer, where you go through a tour of a virtual supermarket. And it shows you what percentage of foods in your supermarket that you regularly buy are not grown anywhere near where you live. And it's a lot. Colton, I wouldn't consider myself to have really any knowledge about the history of metal, but it seems to have its origins in lots of famous influential British bands. Quite a few Americans also jumped in on the scene. You have Germans taking part, and even some hardcore Scandinavians. I'm sure there are lots of other bands and countries that I don't really know anything about, but the one thing that they all have in common is that they're not Chinese. Oh, sorry, more metal. Yes, that is some sort of head-pinging friendship line thing. But think for a minute about how this culture even ended up in China in the first place. Who first started listening to it? Where did they find it? Where did they even go to find people with similar musical interests to start their own bands in the first place? Not to mention, where did they go to find Metallica or Nightwish t-shirts? I didn't know that Asians even had dreadlocks. Turns out they do. I saw like 20 people with them at the show. Oh, and I saw afros too. I'm not really sure how that works. Would love if someone could explain the physics of that to me. And I didn't get it on film, but there was also a symphonic metal band and a Mongolian folk death metal group. Yeah. In the same way that I can get fried sushi or Thai pizza, I can get a chicken tikka sub or even Chinese food from a Danish village in California. I mean, Chinese people love American basketball, and Americans can argue about whether Brazil or some team in Great Britain is better at football. Sweden has a population like similar to the size of New York City, but no matter where I go on the planet, I can still get those meatballs from IKEA and listen to Swedish hip-hop. And that's awesome! Of course, all this globalization comes with problems as well that we need to be aware of. Certain developing economies get left behind, or they get bullied into making it all function. And many of the cultures on the world are watered down as the line between foreign and domestic becomes blurred. But Colton, this blending of cultures will hopefully lead to a greater level of mutual understanding and respect, more free trade and prosperity, and even a greater level of peace. After all, who wants to go to war with the guy making all the Asian flavored pizzas? Cause that dude is awesome. It is most incredible to me that in this global world, where we are from is no longer an indicating or limiting factor in what we can like, and more importantly, what we can become. So Colton, if it's all the same to you, I think I'm gonna go have myself some red bean flavored sesame ice cream now. Hope your day rocks. Look, Colton, my hair is getting long enough to join a metal band.